Hello, this is Russ Cosentino from Zoomdata, here to deliver a demonstration which highlights how Appian and Zoomdata can drive business action from visual analytics. First, a little bit about Appian, which is a market leader in modern business process management and case management software. Appian delivers an enterprise application platform that unites users with all of their data, processes, and collaborations in one environment. Through the partnership with Appian, Zoomdata has created a connector that allows users to access the business process management database. As they access this database, they can create dashboards and conduct visual analytics. As they do their analysis, they'll have the opportunity to identify risky transactions and ultimately create investigations within the Appian BPM application. And this is accomplished through an embedded interface within the Zoomdata dashboard. Through this visualization that leverages the SAL technology from Appian, users are able to interact with the Appian application and submit investigations that ultimately will be followed up through the Appian user interface. To begin this demonstration, we're going to log into the co-branded interface on the Zoomdata server. Once we log in, you'll see that dashboards and data sources pop up on the home page. The data source that we're going to analyze contains records from a bank that highlight fraudulent transactions, and from an Appian standpoint, we want to analyze this information and identify records that require some sort of follow-up. After we click on the AML tile, we see that the AML dashboard pops up. On the right-hand side, we see the embedded visualization that's driven by Appian SAL technology, and on the left-hand side, we see the visualizations that are tied to the Appian dataset. Okay, so let's go ahead and kick off our investigation by opening up the pivot table that contains all the transactions that are of interest to us. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do a sort on the volume of transactions by individual. And what I find is that Mr. Franks pops up with a number of transactions, and interestingly enough, they're all for a similar rounded amount. In fact, I have a hunch that it might be $1,000 per transaction, and it turns out that is the case. So I'm going to go ahead and start an investigation on Mr. Franks, but one of the things I want to do to make it easy for my team is to narrow the list down to Mr. Franks, and I'm going to go ahead and apply that. Now that we've applied the filter to Mr. Franks' transactions, I'm going to go ahead and export this data set for future upload into the Appian system. Now that we've determined that we want to create an investigation around Mr. Franks, we'll go ahead and kick it off within the Appian interface. I'm going to go ahead and type Mr. Franks' name in this field, and you can see all the Franks pop up in the drop-down. I'm going to select Raven Franks, and I'm going to hit Filter. Once I hit Filter, the payer pops up as Mr. Franks, and all the transactions are selected, and now I can hit Next. The next step is to enter in the investigation details, which I called this small transactions, short description $1,000, long description, multiple transactions $4,000. I go ahead and put the investigation category as other. I type in fraud as a desired category, and then this is a new investigation. And I go ahead and click the next button. I've also created two milestones. One is to put a hold on the account, effective on 8/17, and the other is to contact the fraud team. Also do that on 8/17. And I'll go ahead and hit Next. We'll go ahead and we'll add in the administrator and the collaborators. And click Next. In this step, we'll choose the file that we had already generated in the Zoomdata pivot table for upload into the Appian system. Once that's done, we'll go ahead and we'll confirm and launch. And we can see now that the form has been successfully submitted, and it's now showing up in the Appian BPM system for others to follow up based on the action items that I had already put into the system. In addition to analyzing data in a tabular format, Zoomdata can also apply the dimension of time. And we can even analyze the data at the per minute level and look at the number of transactions by cash, check, ETF, PayPal, or wire. And I can hover over a particular point in time and look at the volume of transactions and the average amount. Another type of analysis that's important to my team is to understand the number of transactions that occur between two parties. As highlighted in this chart, the gold bars are indicating a single transaction between two parties. This green bar, though, is telling me that between Yuri Gordon and Regina Stewart, we had 129 transactions. So I'm going to go ahead and filter my table based on Yuri and Gordon's information and apply filter. And when I come back up to the table, you see Yuri is highlighted, and I'm just going to do a quick configuration here, and I'm going to go ahead and add in Stewart's last name, and I'm also going to add in the bank information. Once that's done, I've got an updated table that I can then again export to the team, and I can upload that information into the Appian system and create a new investigation. So in conclusion, Zoomdata and Appian offer a seamless integration of a BPM-based application platform with advanced visual analytics. Once again, this is Russ Cosentino from Zoomdata, and thank you for viewing this demonstration.